What's up, everyone? Episode 5 of WandaVision just dropped on Disney Plus, and a lot happened in it, so let's get into it. One quick note, this is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the first 5 episodes of WandaVision, obviously don't watch. And don't forget, if you enjoy the video, to like, comment, and subscribe. Anyways, let's get right into it. To summarize the plot briefly, this episode starts off by returning to the sitcom setting, but this time it's in the 80s, obviously. 70s last week, or 70s 2 weeks ago, now it's the 80s. But Vision is very skeptical and suspicious of Wanda now. There's this weird moment where Agnes came over, who's the neighbor, and she got all weird and asked Wanda if she wanted to restart the take, kind of like an actor speaking to a director. And then Wanda and Vision's kids grow up 5 years in a split second, so that's another weird thing that happened in that scene. Then it cuts back to Monica Rambeau and the Sword Team, and it's nice to see that they're going to be doing both plots at the same time, where they're going to be cutting between the sitcom and the what's going on with the investigation. I said last week they should have been doing that from the start. I think the show would have benefited from that, and I'm really excited to see that they're, at least it looks like they're going to be doing that for the remaining episodes. I think that keeps the episode kind of flowing better and just makes it more entertaining overall and easier to watch. So essentially the agents and the team think that Wanda's the villain here and that she's kind of controlling the town, but Monica Rambeau disagrees. Back on the show, Vision's at work and he fixes or unhypnotizes a coworker. He's telling Vision to make her stop. He doesn't blatantly say that Wanda's controlling her. He just says, make her stop. So it infers he's talking about Wanda, but it's not clear. If I was to guess, I would say he isn't, just based on storytelling ideas that I would think that would mean he isn't, because they're inferring she is. Then back with the investigation, the Sword Team sends in a drone into Westview, and they try to shoot a missile at Wanda after she goes outside. So then Wanda gets mad, and she comes out of Westview and tells them to leave her alone. But once again, the scene wasn't super clear and specific on what was happening. It was kind of, you're just watching, and there wasn't a lot of details given about what's Wanda doing and stuff like that. But we did learn that it seems Wanda is self-aware of what's happening, as it was kind of the trend. We're kind of heading towards that direction, but it seems like that's where it's headed. Then the episode ends with Vision and Wanda at home, and Vision confronts Wanda about his suspicions of her kind of controlling this whole thing and making her and controlling everyone. And then there's a knock at the door. She opens the door, and it's Quicksilver, but it's not the one from Avengers Endgame. It's the Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men movies. I believe his name's Evan Peters. And I thought that was super cool. I'm super psyched to have him back as Quicksilver, even if it's just a cameo. I'll talk about it a little later in the video. But if that's the direction they're heading with this, that's really cool. So that was essentially the plot of the episode. So overall, I did really enjoy this episode. For me, it was probably the best episode yet. Like I said, I really like that they're showing us the sitcom along with the investigation. I think that's going to make the show flow better. It's going to make it, easier to watch, and and I think for the broad audience, it'll be more enjoyable overall. And certainly, I enjoy it more that way. I think they should have been doing that episode 1, and then all the way until then. Another thing I liked about this episode is I really like that we don't really know who's good and bad. I kind of was inferring that Wanda's bad, but I'm certainly thinking that's not going to be the direction it goes. I think there's going to be some villain, and Wanda's kind of preventing people from getting hurt, something like that. And the Sword Team might be bad. I don't know, who knows? But I like this direction it's headed. I like that the show's a little more clear now. What's more clear on what's happening, and you're kind of able to guess more, where before it was just kind of you have no idea what's happening. It's kind of hard to talk about. Now at least we can kind of guess on some things, I guess, and that will certainly keep me into the show, and that will get me excited for the remaining episodes. I'm really excited that Evan Peters is back to play Quicksilver, and I really enjoyed him as Quicksilver, and I much preferred him as Quicksilver than whoever played him in Age of Ultron. So I'm super psyched that they're bringing him back. It'd be really cool to see him in the MCU, especially since some of the Fox movies he was in, or most of the Fox movies he starred in, that was when the Fox movies started to go to crap. So a lot of them weren't super good. So it's be cool to see him in something that's probably hopefully a little bit better. Along that same note, I'm hoping they bring back more of the X-Men actors, because I thought many of those casting choices were perfect, like James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as Professor X and Magneto. I love both those actors playing those roles, and I think they'd be really smart to bring them back to play those roles. Like I said, since many of the movies that they did do weren't so good, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, at least they had a couple good ones in there. But I think Quicksilver was only in Days of Future Past before it really went to crap. But so really their potential as the superheroes hasn't been used yet. So MCU can hopefully fulfill that if they bring them back, obviously. But I hope they do, and it'd be really nice to see them back. But I hope they're bringing back Quicksilver for more than just a cameo. I hope he's actually going to be kind of back for a little while at least, and be Quicksilver and not just the actor that's acting as Quicksilver in the sitcom. And hopefully this will lead into some multiverse thing. It seems like that's kind of the direction the MCU is heading. It seems like that's the direction everything's heading in right now, but hopefully this will somehow tie into that, and very well this whole WandaVision thing could be tying into some multiverse thing for all we know. The episode itself was quite good as it continues to kind of build tension, and we really don't know who the villain is, like I mentioned, so that kind of just adds more to the tension. Like I said, right now my guess is that Wanda is somehow doing the good team and the Sword team is the bad guy. It's kind of going to go flipped on what the show's kind of showing us. Or even the villain is someone else, and just I don't think it's Wanda. I don't think she's bad. I think they're really using a lack of information or a lack of details they're giving the audience to kind of make people think Wanda's bad, but I don't buy it for a second. I'm guessing most people feel the same way I do. It's just, why would she be the villain here? It doesn't make any sense. And as usual with this episode, with the MCU polish, it's just the acting, set design, production quality, it's all top notch. So that just makes the whole entire episode even more enjoyable. I don't really have any complaints for this episode. My only minor one would be that the humor I thought is spotty at times, particularly in the sitcom. It's just kind of bland and flat. It's kind of like hit or miss. Some jokes are funny, some are just not funny at all, and it just kind of leaves you like with a bland taste in your mouth. But that's a very minor complaint. Overall, I'm pleased with the direction that the show is heading in, especially since with what they did last week, I wasn't super pleased with some of the stuff they did. So I'm definitely excited to kind of see it go back to the formula that they were doing before, along with showing us what's happening outside of Westview. Alright, so that will do it for my review of episode 5 of WandaVision. I'm certainly excited for the next few weeks to watch and review the remaining episodes. The show has me caring about the plot, story, and the characters, which isn't easy to do since I'm not really someone who gets really invested in TV shows, and I wouldn't call myself invested, but I would say I'm certainly intrigued by some of the things that are happening. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. My channel's small, so it's a huge help. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day.